As always, Marcus Farrell, how you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Mundell, how you living, man?
What's up, man? It's almost that time.
Which Friday, the weekend, or election
I
day?
did it. I did it. Ratchet show. I got to clown somebody. Already got my first person I'm a clown.
Who you go clown first, man?
Rebecca for not knowing Black history.
Oh my God, that happened fast. That happened fast.
Wait. How do we have inter show like morning beef with the evening beef? Because she was trying to roast you, but she was trying to be considerate of the fact that you got a lot going on right now.
She better not be considered. That'll always get you clowned. It's roasting season, baby.
Good morning to everybody.
She told me she owed me a clown, so I was waiting for it.
You were waiting patiently.
I ain't here.
She was being delicate last night. She was trying to be trying to be mindful last night, so she missed that opportunity.
Yeah, she did. Too bad. Because I ain't.
Good morning to everybody in the chat room. Shout out to everyone on YouTube, Facebook. We see you leaving comments. We'll get your comments up on the screen as we go through them. What's up, Marcus?
Man, you just tried to clown me saying that Time Will Reveal by Elder Barge was Benny and the Jets.
Bro, you weren't first. You were playing it old fashioned. You know how mothers play their speaker up to the microphone, like, "Can you hear the song?" That's how you were playing it first.
The second part.
The second part, when I first came in, the high pitched part on that song really did kind of sound like the Benny and Jets for a hot for 2 seconds, and then I sat down and I listened. I said, "Okay, it's the fine, all right, I got it wrong." But you were playing it up to the microphone.
Different second. I thought my second was different. When I first sat down, it made me think it was something different.
What'd you think it was?
I mean, the horrible ass singing had me thinking it was something different.
Oh, I was blowing over here. Tunes.
Well, I thought you were talking about DeBarge singing. I'm like, I don't know if we at that level
yet. About me.
Our special, our chipmunk DeBarge. Our DeBarge.
I was like, bro, I don't know if we can handle like 2 squads. I don't know if we can handle yet. Like light skinned DeBarge loving black women. I don't know if we can't handle that crowd yet. And the Beehive. Everybody else, the Bayhive. We can handle everybody else, but I don't think we're up to the task of that yet.
Can we handle the Bayhive?
No, I don't think.
The K-Hive.
K-Hive, yeah. I mean,
I think we can handle any hive. We just got to pick the platform. On Twitter, we'll get smashed by the Beehive. Instagram, we probably get smashed. But on Facebook, everybody watch themselves.
On Facebook, they want. I think we could smash. I think we could survive if we were unified on Twitter, but we're not unified on Twitter right now, so we gonna get devastated by the Bayhive. And nobody worried about the K-Hive though. I mean, shout out to them. They are a force. Like, we ain't gonna pretend like the K-Hive ain't a force, but we haven't had to go to war with them, and I'm not.
Man, they came at me so hard. They came at me so hard this summer.
When? Why?
Woo! The K-Hive came after me.
It sounds crazy. It sounds like your mic. You talking into your mic, but it sounds like you might not have that one connected, bro. Just so you know, I don't want you to listen back and be like, "Damn, where my microphone at?" And then we got to hear how they came after you, because, I mean, I really thought that I would have a confrontation with the K-Hive, but I've managed not to. So I don't even know what that's about, to be honest with you. A lot of people in the chat room saying K-Hive is mostly bots. D Will, what's happening, my man? Shout out to y'all, all the acorns and all the squirrels in the room. I do want to know more about this inner department, I don't know what you call it, inter-channel beef between Rebecca Azor and Mundell Robinson. So I don't know if Rebecca's in the comment section, but she saw your thread this morning, Marcus, where you said didn't you say you got a roaster too?
No,
like everybody.
I didn't know I had to wake up and cancel her.
Oh, well, yeah. Good morning, Rebecca. Yeah. You're canceled. No.
Well, so let's just be. We gotta be honest. We ain't canceling Rebecca, but we literally were on this show saying the worst thing to be is black and not get the inner black jokes about black movies. We in our chat. I mean, we didn't choose some obscure black movie. It's Half Baked, for God's sake. She's talking about first of all, I'm not Jamaican, I'm Haitian. I'm like, oh, you're not gonna go there with me. Like, you did not try to.
Oh, Lord. Talk about Rebecca. Did Rebecca try to use being Haitian as a reason for not doing that movie?
Yeah, I'm like, we ain't going there, sis.
All right. Hang on. Let me do this real quick. We're gonna shift gears.
But yeah, she good people. I'm just harassing them. Oh
yeah, nah. She's down with the squad, and
indeed she is.
We got she's gonna be coming up, and we'll be having a show, or she's gonna be on the channel on a regular basis. So we love her there. That said, we bring Marcus back into the fold, and we have an exciting guest. We always love to bring Alicia Garza onto the
family, friends of the show.
She's friends of the show, family, and always brings that heat. Who got my name? Well, I mean, I know there's other Ben Dixons, but there's somebody in the chat room named Ben Dixon on the Ben Dixon channel. I'm a little confused. I'm feeling. Anyway, in the meantime, what we watching?
Talking like they're us.
They talking like they're us? Hang on.
Yeah, they say y'all need to give us your list of black music and movies. I don't know. I'm scared.
I don't know. I think I might need to block that person because
that's scary, bro. That's hype.
All right.
Yeah.
I think you're all right.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, no, we can hear you. We can hear you, Marcus. I mean, you sound fine, but you don't sound like you got that good microphone on. That's all.
Because I'm not on.
Yeah. All right. We'll keep going until it comes on. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, man. You on deck, Mondale.
What are y'all watching in the news today? Last night,
Joel Osteen got $4.4 million for stimulus.
You see that foolishness, right?
Hey, and wasn't even gonna open his church for people during the
That's
flood.
what I'm saying. That's the problem.
Man,
which hurricane was that? I forgot which hurricane that was that he refused to open up the church. And,
Ben, in normal years, I would be able to tell you, but we're in double letters now for storms, right? But climate change and global warming ain't real. Right. I can't even tell you, bro.
Right, and it ain't something that black folks worry about. That's the funniest thing when folks pretend like we got to educate black folks on the environment. No, y'all the ones who messed it up. Y'all the ones who black and brown and indigenous people been living in harmony with the goddamn environment for centuries. And y'all come around with y'all greedy little nasty, dirty white supremacy and capitalism. And now we got to show y'all how to save the planet. And they think they got to sit around and teach black folks about environmentalism. Clean up y'all shit first. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, we already know what it looked like. We live in the neighborhoods where y'all try to put everything horrible.
Right.
Trash dumps. What does they call them? Nuclear sites, right?
Yeah.
They're building 2 nuclear plants in Georgia right now. Nowhere else in the world have they built nuclear plants in most of our lives.
Right. Let me just put this one on the screen. I just want to check with everybody in the audience if anyone else is getting static. That way we can know if it's on our end or if it's on her end. That way. So anyway, yeah, I was watching that story too, man. What struck you about that?
Man, I just think well, the Joel Osteen thing. First of all, I have little to no love for these prosperity preachers. I think they all deserve to be
oh God.
In heaven. In heaven, I think all of them deserve to be in a hot vacation spot called hell. That's what I think about them. It's a perversion of what theology is. It's a perversion of Christ and the Bible and what it was used for and the purpose of it. So I have no space for those people who out here preaching about prosperity ministries. And Joel Osteen and his snooty ass wife fall right into that category.
Jesus Christ. Why she gotta be snooty? I mean, I don't.
Bro, you don't remember that time?
She very could be. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't remember what happened in first class that time on the airplane? She said to a fellow passenger, "This is years ago. Man, they ain't new snooty. They been nasty."
Jesus Christ! What did they say on the airplane? Like I'm paraphrase.
I'm gonna pull it up.
So no, I guess I didn't know that story. Wow, I missed that one altogether.
Take me down for a second, Ben.
All right, we're gonna bring you down. Everybody in the chat room, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Let's get these numbers up. I need to take a second and share myself. Go on Twitter. Make sure you retweet the stream. Invite as many people as you can to the dopest morning show. As we just were warming up, we have our guest coming in a few minutes. Alicia Garza going to be joining us. She's always dope on the microphone. And I mean, I'm watching. I did see that story. I did see the story about Joel Osteen, but it just kind of went right past me because of how many different ways these prosperity gospel preachers are finding to invalidate their whole entire ass ministry, right? I know, Mondale, you've been to seminary, right?
Yeah.
Which I mean, not that it matters at all, but which seminary? Wake Forest. I did a semester in seminary. Semester. Go ahead, Marcus. Was that you? Oh, okay. Now I'm hearing stuff.
I'm hearing stuff too.
I did I did a semester at interdenominational theological center. I should know it. It was about 10 years ago. One semester. But anyway, I've been in this long enough to know that there's something up with the prosperity gospel in the sense that it neutralizes. I think it's sent intentionally to neutralize the black radical tradition that's traditionally in the black church. The Reverend Barbers, the Cornel West, the Jeremiah Wrights, all the people who's been speaking truth to power from the pulpits. I think the prosperity gospel came in. And Joel Osteen, while he's not like a black prosperity gospel preacher, he has his own version where they sit up there and just tell you how much God loves you, but they don't do anything to help you in the long run. That's what I'm saying.
So apparently 2008, they were in court because in 2006, Osteen, whose husband, Joel, pastors the largest church in Houston. Think about that. Who he didn't let people come in till he got shamed. Let's just say that. Was upset that someone that was a spill. She spilled something on the first class seat, and the flight attendant didn't clean it up fast enough. So she started screaming at her, and then the flight attendant said she grabbed her and elbowed her.
No.
She went to court.
Bro, wait. What's her name? What's Joel's wife's name? Hang on, I gotta find
Victoria.
Victoria out there throwing bows, bro, on the airplane.
I'm telling you, man. So I you know.
So she ain't. I mean, because to me, when I think about what'd you say, like bougie or whatever, I don't really expect them to throw bows. She out there. She might be a little ratchet. She on the airplane throwing bows.
When you cross whiteness,
everything comes out. Everything comes out.
Right. When you check a white person on their whiteness, or you're not moving fast enough and you're the help, that's how you always know. That's how you always know who people are. Like I'm watching people, how you treat waitresses, and wait ex people. I'm watching how you treat like folk in the hotel that clean the rooms. You know what I'm saying? I'm just watching because those people. That's how you really act. When people walk up to your table and you like, oh, you go away. This right here is a no for me. You're done. Like in my book, I ain't with you at all. Like,
right? Nah, I rock with that too, man.
But that's just the epitome. Actually, Joe Osteen's story and that $4.4 million. People might be like, oh, that's small fries compared to what some other folks have. Right. What he makes, probably what he spent on his cars. But it's indicative, and also it's a great mirror of what America looks like in this world. If you're super rich, they're going to find a way to give you more money on the backs, even when they're supposed to be helping the least amongst us, the most vulnerable amongst us. We can't even get money. Excuse me. We can't even get enough money for people to live that don't have jobs, right? You have to be a qualified adult. In this America, in this time, every adult should be getting money because of what's going on in this economy. But you have to be a qualified adult, and then you have to wait 9 months from your last $1,200 to get this $600. So I'm just disgusted that this is happening, but I'm also aware that I live in America that always take care of the wealthy.
Right. Go ahead, Marcus. You sound like you were jumping there.
Yeah, no, I'm just working on this microphone. I'm sorry about that, guys.
Oh, no problem, man. Keep doing your thing. We're gonna pull you down real quick. Let you keep doing your thing. That's the thing. What I was getting ready to say. It really is though much more. And I know you know this, Mundell, because you've been following this in terms of like the inside outside approach, even to church. Like you're inside. You understand the black radical tradition of the church, but you also see what's going on with the prosperity gospel. I think the prosperity gospel was sent intentionally. There was an article by, there's research done by Melissa Harris Perry. I think her last name was Lacewell at the time. And she put out an article, and she really did just kind of like study the role that the prosperity gospel has played in the black church. And in that article, she was talking about how the prosperity gospel came expressly for the purposes of neutralizing that black radical tradition on the political scene. And that's why you had so many evangelicals pour millions of dollars into black preachers, building them mega centers, building them mega churches, putting, $30,000 a speech in their hand, because they knew that was a way that they can neutralize the power of the black radical tradition that exists in the church.
Yeah, that's absolutely real. I wish.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna give some more shout outs to the chat room. Luke Kane, good morning in the chat room. We see all the squirrels and the everything else. Make sure you click that share like, and subscribe button.
I think everybody in America. Yeah, go ahead, brother. I'm so sorry.
No. Do you think, man? When you think everybody in America, what?
I was gonna, stay on this topic about stimulus and thank everybody. Bim Joyner says, Atlanta influences everything. I think we should expand that statement, not to mess with the brother's statement, but I think he should say Georgia influences everything, because right now, what we know, because of that private call, Mitch McConnell thought nobody was on, but he was with the other GOP senators. He found out that the reason that they were even talking about making a stimulus deal, or having a stimulus deal, is because Georgia is hammering the two senators that are in the runoff right here. The two Republican senators, David and Kelly, as he called them, are getting hammered because of their failure to move. So the only reason that we have any movement on the stimulus is because of Georgia folk paying attention to what's going on in the election. And people need to know Georgia folk are paying attention, because more than 1.3 million people have already requested ballots. And and in the first 2 days, so this is not even including yesterday's total, because I don't know that yet. I'll find that out in a few hours. Already nearly 700,000 people had already voted. Of those people, 34% of them were black, 35% were black. So we had already banked like 99,000 black men had already voted.
Jesus
the
Christ.
First day, the first day of early voting in the runoff was higher than the first day of early voting in the general election, bro.
Wow.
Say that.
That's
what
insane.
I just said.
Say that again. Marcus, tap that microphone. I think you're back in here, actually. And say that one more time, Mondale.
Yeah, people should know that normally runoffs are historically low turnouts, because people don't know that runoffs have a racist history. Like, they were a way for white people to keep power, right? That's why they used to be. This is the first runoff that's been longer than 3 weeks in Georgia's history. That normally they happen right after, right? But this is an 8-week runoff, and what we were seeing is people are hyper aware. Of the people who have already requested their ballots, 370,000 have returned them, and in-person voting has reached over 300,000. The first day of early voting in Georgia, more than 100 and some thousand had voted on the first day of Monday. 30,000 more than voted in the general election. This November. That is crazy. That is unbelievable, bro.
Right.
Unbelievable. I'm telling people, I said it, and I'm gonna continue to say it. We're about to have the highest turnout ever in this country for a runoff. So,
that's amazing.
I saw the pictures. We're gonna have. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, I'm just saying. I saw the pictures. I saw all the lines. I saw all of the folks who were. Hang on, Marcus. I'm pulling you back in here. I mean, you would have thought it was November 3rd. You would have thought it was like a regular election day. How many people turning up to these polls early voting?
Yeah, and it's traditional in Georgia fashion. We had voting machine problems. We had long lines, and guess what? We stayed right there and we voted. So yeah, man, it's the vote for me. Yeah, it's the vote for me. I'm telling you. So, man, I'm super hyped. Obama's so hope to me, but it's the vote for me, and I don't say it jokingly. Black Lives Matter openly. Oh, sorry. That's a little rap I'm working on for the concert. Bars. In case they let me go, you know. Bars. Rebecca, you need help with that? So black thing. Rebecca, you might not get the joke.
Bars. What does Rebecca think bars means, everybody? What
oh my God!
When we say bars,
what Mondale Black ass should be behind? That's what she thinks.
Jesus Christ! God damn.
Rebecca, that's too far. Rebecca, you see how Marcus feel about you.
Hey, listen. I defend Rebecca at all costs, but that I was.
You can miss that one. You can miss that one.
Somebody say candy bars. See, people somebody said Alicia Keys. Man, I can't. I hate these people.
Oh Lord. Oh my God. Shan Williams said Rebecca about to come in here and shake the table. All right. No, we're not clouded. We love Rebecca. We love everybody on this channel. We love our guests. We love our the audience. In fact, I think I love y'all more than all of them love you. But that's besides the point. That's neither here nor there. We're excited to be joined shortly by Alicia Garza. She is a friend of the show. She's been on several times, and we hope we can get her back as often as she's available. And we're moving towards, we're getting closer and closer and closer to January 5th. What are y'all feeling in terms of like just the whole the whole outlook? Like, is there I'm still optimistic, but what are y'all thinking about in terms of the runoff?
I believe from the people that I've spoken with, right, when I get outside of my little COVID bubble and I go out and still talk to a certain amount of folks, and I happen to be doing some business in South Georgia right now, and everybody, and particularly in Moultrie and Thomasville and Waycross have been areas that I've been like just talking to people doing my regular business. And everybody kind of knows who I am, and they always ask me, and they always kind of ask me, hey, hey, brother, like, I voted, I already early voted, and the spirit of it is different, right? So I think we're going to win. I still think that Ossoff has a less likelihood to win than Warnock, but I do believe, that we're going to pull out one of these seats, and I think the theory of, and a lot of people have this theory in Georgia right now, that if there is a blowout victory for Warnock, then he can carry Ossoff across the finish line, right? But people don't realize how formidable of opponent that Purdue is, and there is a difference between the kind of campaign that Purdue is running in comparison to the kind of campaign that Kelly Loeffler is running, right? When we tend to try to like box everybody in, we tend to try to box everybody in with like, okay, they're just Republicans and they're running the same campaign. Right. Well, I'll be very honest with you. Warnock and Ossoff are running different campaigns, and Loeffler and Purdue are running different campaigns, right? Right, for sure. Loeffler showed up for her debate, and Purdue didn't, right? Purdue has the sitting power Purdue is the only sitting U.S. senator right now that's running for office, right, in the state of Georgia, right? So there's always going to be the power of being a sitting senator. And as Mondale said, like, they're passing this weak sauce $600 stimulus bill just so they can, stop getting hit. It's amazing how Georgia becomes the center of the universe for other policies, right? Just because of an election. But that also shows you how fickle DC is and how soft DC is, because, they only do something to win an election or to lose an election, not to actually help the people, right? Ossoff has just started talking about issues. Ossoff is talking about a $15 hour minimum wage. Ossoff is talking about like, healthcare, right? What I find interesting is Ossoff doesn't have to be as moderate as he is right now to win an election, right? And at this point, if you were a Republican or there ain't no swing voters left, guys. It's a turnout election, right? So saying healthcare, saying we need healthcare is good, right? And he doesn't necessarily have to say Medicare for all, but he damn sure has a chance to explain it, because he has to separate himself. I think Ossoff has to separate himself from and this is for Black voters, I believe. I believe Black voters are naturally a little bit more attracted to Warnock than they are to Ossoff. So I think Warnock's going to pull out a victory. As you saw, my former organization, and I believe a couple other organizations, are suing four counties in the state right now for restrictions for early voting. And that lawsuit is in, and we'll get that news back sooner or later. But the Republicans are up to the same tactics of trying to close polling locations, restricting early voting. This is something that's just so normalized for them at this point that we knew it was coming. They would not sit back and dish down Trump as an entity and then not do something to restrict voters in the state of Georgia. So we still got to fight ahead. People are still out there working and still out there grinding. But for the most part, when it comes down to it, we're going to win one of these seats. Yeah. And I wish that a bold version of Ossoff would come out. Maybe we could actually pull out both of them.
Actually, Ossoff is running a campaign speaking more to Black people than Warnock. And but that's not a knock on Warnock, except for it is. And the reason he is because he can. And America always make it so white people can be more radical, or you could be a Bernie Sanders and still be a senator. You couldn't be a Black Bernie Sanders and be a senator, right? Not in this country. They think if Bernie Sanders was Black, our revolution wouldn't exist. he wouldn't have been elected. They're not having a black man say what Bernie Sanders says on TV in America. Think about what the Panthers were saying, and then compare it to, if you know anything about Panthers, it sounds like Bernie Sanders stole their platform. Their 10-point platform is what Bernie Sanders running around talking about. That's why I laugh when people talk about Bernie.
Man, you gotta,
Bernie talking about this.
Progressivism can only come from white folks, bro. What are you talking about, man? They're the real progressives. They got to teach us about capitalism. They got to teach us about class critique. They got to teach us about environmentalism, as if we haven't been surviving this shit all this time. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Well,
yo, they try to Jamal Bow me. Y'all can stop. They can stop because they ain't going nowhere.
Who tried to Jamal Bow me?
Whoever cut off my internet.
You were here the whole time. We ain't even miss you, man.
Oh wow, yeah, my jump went out. So what I was saying was, this ain't new to us. Like that's why it's a joke to me. You know what I'm saying? So free lunch in this country was in direct reaction to the Black Panthers freeing poor people, right? And people think it was black people. No, the Panthers fed everybody. Even hungry white kids got fed by the Panthers free breakfast program. People don't know that, right? Free clinics was a Panther thing. We have free clinics, community clinics around this country because the Black Panthers did it, bro.
And I wonder why Black Panthers did it, though. Why do you think it is that these brothers put their entire lives on the line in order to do good? In order to do good, right? In order to feed the poor kids in the morning, in order to have these free health clinics, in order to stop to put their bodies on the line against police brutality at the same time they put their bodies on the line against capitalism. I wonder why they did it. I'm just like, why on earth would these black men put their life, and black women for that? I'm sorry, black folks in general.
How come no one ever called it? Right, exactly. And I'm glad you said black women and black. So, but what I was saying was, if you look at some of Ossoff's ad, I seen a great ad by one. I gotta give it to him. And also, I want to say that, they got people over there now. They got rid of the whole team, got a new team. They got people that can take critique very well. Because I was on the phone, told them like, y'all really gonna lose this election. I straight up told. I was on the phone with them. DS. I told them y'all gonna lose. Running ads like that cop ad was ridiculous. And I told them. Lawrence was on the call. I'm calling names because I always do, so people don't think I'm lying. And you can go fact check me if you need to. And I told him, like, yo, don't run another one of those ads. Like, we're doing enough to drag y'all across this race. People out here doing this work. Don't run another one of those ads. We don't need to see them 7 cops. Y'all are speaking to conservatives. You ain't gonna lose one black voter because the conservatives said you radical. I'm watching YouTube and all I see is Radical Raphael. And I'm thinking, damn, do they not know they making people like this brother more? Like you showing doing a rap battle. I'm looking at YouTube rap battles and backyard boxing, and you playing every 15 seconds you playing a Warnock is radical video. I'm like, that's how disconnected people are to black people. You showing the video where he's saying what Reverend Jeremiah Wright said, God damn America, not knowing black people say that every day. In every meaning of it. Like, God damn America, with and without the comma.
Right.
So basically, let me say it a different way and excuse the vulgarity. Fuck America and fuck, America. So basically, you think about what it means to black people, but it's true. You can't be in this world. You can't be bombarded with so much hate and dirt and kill and murder of our people and not say, God damn America. Yeah, the only people that find that offensive is these fake patriots who can't criticize this country for all the bullshit, who think this country is right at all the times, except for when this country stands up and vote against their white king.
Now they bad. Now they lost their goddamn minds.
Donald Trump got killmongered by the people of America. Is this your king? Is this your king? I just need him to keep his word for one time in his life. He said if he lost his election, he would leave the country. Motherfucker, please.
Do that.
Please.
Do that. I'm thinking about that conversation that Mondale had to have with the campaign. And I'm thinking about the conversations that I had with some people around the campaign. I'm not going to say no names, but I had the same conversation with somebody, Mondale, that's in that camp about that commercial. And about a couple of other things that I found wrong, right? And one thing that I want to say, I give these candidates props, is that they aren't completely in their neoliberal or no, let me not say neoliberal, let me say Washington consultant bubble that they normally are in, right? Because it's different. I do feel like it's different with these two, because it's like damn, we really got to deal with black men this time. Like, and I'm not trying to be funny, but like, but it's like man, we really got to deal with them this time. And but the problem is, why has our party centered what Republicans think are important to black people or the voters in the first place? Like, why do we have to go back and tell them, hey guys, you remember this summer when everybody was outside in the streets? They weren't having a street festival. They were protesting Black Death. Like, so you mean to tell me nobody on your team thought that one through at all beforehand when it came down to galvanizing, a base of people, right? And that's my problem. How these campaigns consistently show up to appeal to white moderates.
Yep.
That's my problem. How that happens. So yeah.
So I mean, can I there's one thing that you said, I want to just unpack it just a little bit more, is the fact that somebody in the comment section said, Ben, but with all due respect, white progressives and stuff, I'm not attacking white progressives completely, but I am going to amplify it with what Marcus just said. Fact of the matter is, we're dealing with an American system, along with the political party, along with a faction, the progressive left, that actually prioritizes in every way. White folks get the priority first. The number one thing that we get from the Democratic Party is what? That we need to appeal to moderate Republicans, right? And that's what they're willing to lose elections around, because they would rather appeal to moderate Republicans than black folks. They want black folks to show up and vote, but they don't actually want to have to do anything for black folks. Similarly, on the progressive left, we got them. They still are talking about the same thing, appealing to white folks, to white working class folks at the expense of black folks. So I'm sorry, I'm just seeing a real lot of commonalities in the connectivity of the whiteness that connects and sustains white folks in this country. I know not all white folks are bad, clearly. I mean, we got a huge base of support of white folks. But at the end of the day, when we see a pattern of not only white supremacy serving whiteness, obviously they will, the Democratic Party sacrificing black folks on behalf of white moderate Republicans, and progressives saying, well, we need to get those working class voters, so let's tamp down on the identity politics. You should kind of understand some of the problems that we have with the entire system, for that matter.
Yeah, man, listen. Yeah, Ben, you're checkpoint. So here's the thing. I tell people all the time.
We got the queen in the waiting room, by the way. So when she gives us a thumbs up, we'll bring her up. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me go ahead. So yeah, what I was gonna say was, man, it is for me, it's wonderful to be like I am disgusted that our party is our party. Meaning the way that they play politics, but I'm gonna keep it $1. I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm a lifelong Democrat, right? And never voted any other way. But I was on yesterday. Who interviewed me? Governor Deval Patrick interviewed me because he has a PAC, and it's called Together, and it's and he interviewed me for his podcast, and he was saying he was asking me about our party, and I was talking to him about the party and how I felt, and he was like, he's like, he was telling me like he's a lifelong Democrat, but he's disgusted at the way, basically he didn't use those words because he would never go there, but his sentiments was that the party is failing epically, and it continues to fail epically in the same race, like it show up in the same way that is harmful to our communities and also to the turnout of our voters that are our base. And I was like, okay, I mean, like at your level, surely he's a delegate, right? I mean, like he's a previous governor. Yeah. Are you sharing these sentiments? Are you sharing these sentiments? And then the more we had conversations, I saw the frustration and why he started his PAC. You know what I'm saying? Like, and why it's not associated with the party, and it's him trying to fund year-round organizing in Black communities. And I oh yeah. So this is not money, not money to like him to keep. He's just throwing it at Black-led organizations around the country. So
Well, that's amazing.
It was a pretty interesting. Kind of blew my mind, because what I'm seeing is, you know how some people say the older you get, the more conservative you get. I don't really think that's the case for Black people. It seems like the older they get, the more liberal they get. So
let me tell you this before I bring Alicia. One of my one of the people I consider to be a mentor is a Black businessman, and I mean, in a way, this dude is one of the most radical people I've ever come across in my goddamn life. Be honest with you. So, you know, watch your mouth.
I got two things before we bring Alicia on. The first thing is, when that brother came to town, when he was thinking about running for president, he came to town, and obviously he's grown, because I think his little tour around America to see where the Democratic Party and where Democrats were when he was active, in comparison, because I'm gonna tell you something. Like, me and Duvall got into it. Like, we got into it at a fundraiser for him. Damn. Right? And I was, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? And I literally said, you know, like, what kind of politics are you planning for, like, showing up for Black folks during your campaign? How's your campaign look? And to be honest with you, at the time, he wasn't prepared. But to hear him say that to Mondale now is just a stark difference. And not, I could tell that there's more people on the ground. And the second thing I want to bring up is, if there's 1,000 people, right? If there's 1,000 people, if there's 1,000 person vote and it's a national election, historically, and 700 of those people were Black. Democrats have historically spent all the money on the 300 white people.
Literally all the money on 300. I want to bring up on the screen right now and dovetail this conversation, none other than a friend of the show, Alicia Garza from Black Futures Lab, co-creator of Black Lives Matter, author of The Purpose of Power. Sis, welcome back to the show. How are you this morning?
Good morning. It's really early on my end, so thank you for letting me get a couple sips of coffee in before
Marcus,
we talk.
Marcus, what you holding up over there? What's that you hold up there, bro?
An unsigned copy of this woman's book.
Well, let's go ahead.
Let's get that rectified. Let's get that signed.
I want a big smiley face saying Marcus is the best Trap Squad member right here. Like,
I got you.
How you doing? I know you're on the West Coast time, so it is like 6 a.m. over there. So we do appreciate you. Everyone in the chat room appreciates you. A lot of squirrels and acorns are going up in the chat room. That's our thing. Our things are squirrels and acorns.
And acorns. I messed with it.
That's how they know they know they love you. And from what my understanding, a couple of people in the audience, they really have enjoyed your book so far. And so I want the fellas to just, you know, let's just talk. What you been up to, sis?
Well, look, it's dark outside right now. So there's that.
I feel that. Let me get your Twitter handle.
I've been doing that. I've been getting up 5 a.m. trying to get stuff done because we're in the final push. So just really trying to make sure that we're talking to as many voters as possible about what's at stake in this upcoming election cycle. And also that we're looking forward. So we've been spending a lot of time. In fact, we have a session together tomorrow where we're doing some big picture thinking about 2021 and where we go from here. And a lot of what we're going to be up to is changing the rules in cities and states across the country. So that's what elections are for, right? It's to put the right people in place on our behalf to make new rules and change old, bad, and rigged rules. So we're going to be pushing, but we'll also be pushing our own rules in this upcoming year. And I'm super stoked about that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Hi, my name is Mondale.
Morning.
What up, you?
Hello. You're like, nice to meet you.
So listen, now that you have a Black News, the Chipmunk has made your book a top seller. You know what I'm saying? So
the Chipmunk game.
we the only accolades we care about is like how Black it is, and that book is amazingly articulate and Black. And I know you're probably tired of talking about it, but tell our folk why, if they don't want to read it, why they should listen to it. on some kind of audio device. The book is dope. It looks good on. I prefer my books with paper. I like to get paper cuts every now and then. Reminds me I'm real. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, I got it on my phone too. So tell people about Go Past the Ford by Barbara Lee and just talk about the thickness of it. So yeah,
oh my
if you don't mind.
Oh, of course. It's 200 plus pages, and every single one of those pages was written by me. So I will just say right this minute, book writing is really hard, but I am almost obsessed with words. So every single period, every single sentence, that is mine. And I feel really proud of every single one in there. But if you're not somebody who is reading right now, you don't have time, you're like, I haven't sat down and flipped a page in a minute unless it was, paying a bill or, something like that. Then you should get the audiobook. And there's a couple reasons why. Number one, because I narrate it. So I get to read my own book to you. So you got me in your ears. Number two, because Dwayne Wiggins from Tony scored the audiobook.
Oh, wow.
Which means
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah. That's the homie. Yeah. Shout out to Dwayne. And number three, because some people are getting the hard copy and the audio copy. So
love. That's
those types of feeling. You can do both. Don't worry.
Hey, now it may be cold on the East Coast, but on the other side of town, it never rains. Hashtags don't build movements. People do. Now we have to learn how to build movements for the 21st century. Going forward in the 21st century, we seem to have people like we are always, like we roast the Democratic Party on the show, but we also are Democrat.
I love that about you.
Well, I'm a Democrat and Mondale's a Democrat, but we roast them. You're in California right now, and there's this dude by the name of Gavin Newsom who happens to be the governor out there, right? Now, this dude and the woman who forwarded your book is one of the people that Black women, but Black America is saying needs to replace Senator Harris and Vice President-elect Harris. My question is this: like, who we got to come out there and fight, and where are we? Seriously, where are we in that? Is Gavin about to make a bad decision and throw Black people under the bus?
I think so, but we still have time. I'm just keeping it a buck. I think he's going to make a bad decision because he's doing that thing where he's like, I'm refusing to meet with people when he love a photo op, child. So if he's refusing to meet with you, it's because he doesn't want to be told what to do, which is okay. But that's not how this works. You're the governor. Right. Yeah. And lots of people helped you get into this seat. And so you now need to have a conversation with them about what it is that they want to see happen. And I will tell you this, we are pushing for there to be a Black woman in that seat. The voters of California elected a Black woman to that seat on purpose. And we are not going to go backwards. So there's a lot of things. And for me, y'all know, I don't believe in supporting people just because they're Black. Because from Daniel Cameron all the way up here to Clarence Thomas, like we can't afford to do that anymore. But Representative Karen Bass, Representative Barbara Lee are both incredibly talented, qualified Black women who earned that seat, quite frankly. Remember in 2016 when everybody was talking about Hillary earned it? Okay, well, I don't know if I agree with that, but I do know Representative Bass, they have put in work, both of them, one current, one former chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. And for people who don't know about the Congressional Black Caucus, it is a coalition.
It might have been politically correct.
Yeah, you are being politically correct.
Well, I say coalition. I say coalition because people always assume that everything Black is progressive or liberal, and it's just not true. Actually, especially in Congress, a lot of things Black are moderate and even conservative. So it's important when you see someone like Representative Bass or Congresswoman Lee leading that body, because it means a couple of things. One, it means that they have built the seniority to be taken seriously by members of their caucus, and it means that they know how to get things done. Okay, because also, if you know anything about Congress, and I'm going to tell y'all the truth now. Dude's been running things for a long time, and they like to stay running things, and y'all know this. So
is that do we do that really?
Y'all do.
Alicia,
that's not the bad thing. The bad thing is not y'all running things, but the bad thing is that y'all been running things forever and making room for us
and just messing shit up
for us. Okay, so one thing if y'all was like leading for all of us, which is our goal.
Right. I gotta follow up.
All right, hit it.
Yeah, and it's like this right here. First, Congresswoman Lee is, when you say the word progressive, even though she might not scream Medicare for all every other second, she was the only person to vote against the Iraq war. So, and that's probably one of the only, if not the most progressive move in the American history. One of them that you could actually top the list. I got my follow-up question is this. So since Clyburn and Barack Obama, just gonna
start it this morning.
No, we gotta do this. We gotta do this one. We gotta take this lick. Since they want to come down from their perch and tell us how we talk about our pain and suffering, and not to sloganeer or quote unquote sloganeer about defunding the police. My question to you is, how come these same two and also Joe Biden aren't in the ear of Gavin Newsom saying, well, we need to protect we need to protect a voting bloc that has supported us and got me into office consistently at a high rate? How come we haven't heard them putting the public pressure like they did on Black activists, on Governor Newsom, with their power that be to make sure that a Black woman gets this seat? Talk to me.
Well, okay, there's a couple things. Number one, Leader Clyburn did actually come out last week and appeal to the governor that he thought it should be a Black woman, which I found interesting because you all will remember that during the general election, Leader Clyburn wasn't really with the shit when it came to having a Black woman as vice president, and he wouldn't commit to it. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I know this, child, because I keep receipts, and y'all know there's a thing I do. I keep receipts at all points in time. So let me just scroll through my Dewey Decimal System of receipts and pull out this View appearance that he did over the summer, where, privately he had said that he was all in for a Black woman. But then when it came to being out in front of America, he was like, I don't think it has to be a Black woman. I don't think it has to be a woman of color. It should be the most, he did like the white people thing where they'd be like, it could be anybody. And it's like, okay, whatever. But you're absolutely right. This question about, the messaging and the framing is not actually a conversation about messaging or framing. It's a conversation about signaling what they gon' do and what they ain't gon' do. And what they ain't gon' do, at least as of right now, is enact any kind of significant, substantial police reform. What they are going to do is create a commission and a task force where good ideas go to die. So we should all know in the lead up before the inauguration, we got some work to do to build the kind of pressure so that they understand that they're not going to take a seat in that Oval Office, child, without doing some real things on policing and criminal system reform and climate change. I mean, we have a whole list of things. It's not just about the police for me. It's about a whole bunch of things. So,
right.
Y'all ready? This is the moment where we let them know you're not gonna get nothing done
Right.
Unless you do what we need you to do.
Right.
Yeah. Let's also say, I appreciate you being nice with folk. But Barack Obama's political career was built on the back of a very successful, and by successful I mean doing right by her constituents, Black woman, right? He played nasty Chicago style politics to win an election, right? Of a sister who was already doing what she was supposed to be doing by her constituents, who were not upset with her. And what he did was wait to the last minute to go to the Board of Election and challenge every one of her signatures, knowing that it would be impossible to find the people who had signed the petition to get her on the ballot so that he could be on the ballot instead of her. So, so you're asking Marcus why he ain't calling Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom is playing him. He's the California version of Barack. If we're talking about in terms of Barbie dolls, you got the Black Ken, Barack Obama, and you got this Gavin Newsom, California Ken, whatever. So I'm talking about in terms of what happened? What did I miss? Rebecca, I feel like you right now. What did I miss?
No. Go ahead, Mandel.
So what I'm talking about is I'm talking about I'm not dehumanizing these brothers. I'm saying proverbially their politics are same. They're so milquetoast that they're disgusting and also harmful to Black folk, even those who are doing right by Black folk. I'm not one to say people shouldn't be challenged. But I am saying that if you call yourself a South Side of Chicago community organizer and you got a politician that's doing right by the residents of South Side, why in the hell are you gonna play dirty to get rid of her? Challenge her in a real way. Or stay the hell out that race. I just don't have time for people, dancing around this so-called smooth talking code switching Barack Obama that they love so much when he's done and did and is doing so much harm to our movement. So him and Jim Clyburn can, dance their ass off into the moonlight, and I just hope that moonlight's on a different planet.
Okay, I feel you. I'm gonna say this. Barack Obama also made a career. He made a name for himself off of work that he once did. And it was community organizing. It was literally how community organizing got on the map in terms of the country understanding what it is, right?
Yeah.
And, I think the truth of the matter is he used that brand in a certain way. And the way he used that brand, I think you're absolutely right, Mondale, is to appeal to white folks. And the way that he did that was to say, I used to be this idealistic, right? Can't get nothing done kind of individual. But now, right, I've learned the game and now I'm breaking ceilings and I'm making history. And that is a part of his narrative and his story. And I don't know. I feel like me and Barry could be friends, but he would be that kind of friend where we would always be fighting. And I would always be reading his ass. But then, we would agree to disagree at the end of it. We all got those friends, right? They think they've come up with something, but they don't have the range, right? And I think for former President Obama, he doesn't have the range around this stuff. And so I think he gets both deliberately and unintentionally dragged into conversations that really he doesn't belong in. And I don't say that to be messed up. If y'all start having a conversation about quantum physics and I start throwing in, you would be like, what are you talking about? Thanks for coming to the party, but
you don't understand the basics of string theory? You mean you can't just wade in on that conversation?
I don't know anything about it, so I'm happy to be an observer. And here's what I want to say about the former president. I think that what he ended up doing here is providing cover for the fact that this administration plans to do not a damn thing about anything. We heard it on the leaked audio last week. They said, we don't want police to think that we don't ride for them. We don't want people to think blah, 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 blah. So here's what we go and do, and here's what we not go and do. And that's not set in stone, but I want us to understand that that's movements work, okay? We need to make sure that shifts. But on the other hand, I think we need to call it for what it is. It's annoying to me that Barack Obama uses this vast platform that he has. He's like the most popular man in the universe. And he uses this platform in ways that are just weird to me, including being very condescending to activists and organizers. We experienced this for 8 years, man. As a movement emerges under his presidency, he had a hard time getting with it in the first place. He's with it now, so he says, but he had a hard time getting with it in the first place. So
we're speaking with Alicia Garza. She's the author of The Purpose of Power, How We Come Together When We All Fall Apart. Make sure that you get the book as well as the audio version. Alicia, I want to back up to something that you said.
Hold on a second, man. Let me tie up something you did with what Alicia said. Do that. You all see this is the magic of Blackness, and when I'm just sitting back, being the nerd that I am, watching how amazing it is. Ben brought up string theory, and she said she knows nothing about string theory, but kind of define Obama in what extreme theory is, right? Like this one, he has this.
Wait a minute. Let me watch you do this, boy. Let me see what you're about to do here, boy. Go ahead.
So string theory, right? So let's say it's about this one-dimensional particle, him with this big platform, just floating through quantum gravity, right? He's just floating through space with nothing, doing nothing but interacting with other things and taking from those things. Obama is the string theory if it was a person. So Obama, I appreciate that conversation. Go ahead, y'all.
Well, actually, this is actually better than the question I was going to ask. Let's do this instead. If you had the kind of power that Barack Obama has right now, the kind of platform that you had, that he has right now, I want to go around the room and I want to see it in the chat room. Like, what would you be doing? And fellas, I want to hear from you as well as Sister Alicia. Like, what would you do with that power that Barack Obama has at this point?
I would shut the fuck up, or
that's an option. That's definitely an option.
That's an option, man. That's like you or do things like, or like in Brother Barack's defense, in former President Obama's defense, or take my platform and make it, since these moderates are claiming that defund the police is losing us elections, then Barack Obama needs to take his platform and explain what defund the police means, because the moderates ain't gonna stop. So the next statement out of Barack Obama's mouth should be, well, first, that person wasn't saying defund the police, and second, this is what defund the police means officially. Because if Barack Obama says it, it becomes Wikipedia immediately, right? Mm-hmm. And therefore, so they can know he could have nullified the attack, right? He could have helped his own thing out. Secondly, if I was Barack Obama, I would be pushing for expansion of Medicare or Medicare for all. I would actually be radical, because you ain't got nothing to lose right now, right? Well, I mean, a book deal, maybe.
No. If he gets too radical, you know, he's still not above what they do to black people when they get too powerful.
But on the same token, there's enough moderate white people that we can end the process of having to appeal to moderate white folks on both sides of the aisle, right? That's Barack's place.
He could do it. Yeah,
he could actually take the country a little to the left, but I mean, I'm not.
Alicia, what would you do with that power? Alicia,
wouldn't he have to be a little bit to the left too?
Exactly.
He is a very charming, charismatic, dapper, funny moderate.
Pete Buttigieg with an attitude? Okay, cool.
Yes.
No, just not even with the attitude, but with just a little bit of melanin. That's it. I'm sorry.
Fact. I mean, this is the thing. We have to struggle with this, because I honestly think that, again, when it comes to Black folk, we expect that everybody is liberal or progressive or radical. And actually, that is just not true for our folks. Our folks are pragmatic and practical and always trying to stay out the wrath and the ire of white people.
Right.
That's fact. That's a survival mechanism. But everything else around it, I mean, we also internalize white logic for the economy, for our society, and for our government. So for me, if I had Barack Obama's platform, I would be using it to beat this party up. And I think this was one of his missed opportunities, actually. He built an incredible infrastructure and then didn't do shit with it.
Come on. How do you got the power to change the world and you don't go for it, bro? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so here we are, right? And people are trying to like relive the heyday that never happened because they saw the promise of a thing that never came to be. So if I was him, I would use my platform to jumpstart that infrastructure that I built. And I would apologize to people for not using it. And I would take this party to task because why not? He don't like the damn Democratic Party. It's weird, right? He don't really rock with the Democratic Party, which is why he didn't do anything with his infrastructure. Anyway,
so what the hell was he? Well, anyway, before we get to that next
question. No. Wait, Ben. She's right. Like, she's right. That's a fact. Like, check this out. The Democratic Party latched on to him. He didn't latch on to the Democratic Party. And so what he was doing is what the Democratic Party started doing. It ain't. I agree with her completely. Like,
I agree. Yeah. But I guess what bothers me though.
A point of clarity, real quick.
Go ahead.
So Obama stole an idea and did it better than the person who was doing it initially, right? Howard Dean was 50-state strategy. Obama did it better because he was more skilled at it. So, you know, like he took that 50 state and actually he didn't just take the idea, he took all the people that was working with Howard Dean in 2004 and brought them along for his 2008 ride. So like the online organizing, all of that came from something that was before him. And we're not surprised because, you know, he's that type of string theory. So anyway, but if you think about like there was something. Well, first of all, I need to understand your question, Ben. Are you asking me if I was Barack or if I had his platform?
No. That's a good distinction. If you were Mondale Robinson with Barack's platform, what would you do with it?
First, I'm taking everybody I know on this dope ass vacation outside of this country to show them that blackness exists beyond the perils that are America. Then when we get back, we're gonna turn this bitch down. Politically, of course. Politically.
I mean, hey, you can't watch that one away.
Maybe a little bit more than political, but political for sure.
Shit, bro. Political is enough. They come after you. So you come after their politics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm invested in people to be better Democrats, meaning we're going to take over the party that belongs to us, the party that is anything because of us. Like the success, like I'm not willing to give the Democratic Party all this infrastructure that black bodies work so hard to give. So I'm training my people how to take this damn thing. Like it's ours. You know how hard it is to get on a ballot? Ask Kanye. So why not just take over our party? It's successful because of us. Let's just take this thing over and force those other folks to go be the Republicans that they really are. So go over there and be the left wing of the Republican Party and let us have this. But this infrastructure belongs to us. This party is successful because of us. If you don't believe me, look at Georgia. 71% of white people voted for Donald Trump.
Yep.
And they still lost. That is the power of I'm telling you, that is the power of black voters. 71% of white people voted against the Democrats. And we still won. We are where we are because of black voters.
Period.
So we can't give them our party. So if I had Obama's money and infrastructure, it would be to take over our party.
Period. So the reason I asked that question, and I'm going to throw it back to you all just to, keep talking in general. But the reason I asked that question is like, when you got that kind of power and you got that kind of money, something tells me you are doing exactly what you want to do. And so for Barack Obama to be like, oh, well, we should do this and we should do that. Nigga, you got all the power in the motherfucking world. The only reason it's not being done is because you don't want to do it, Mr. President. That's all. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna throw something to Alicia, but I do have to point something out real quick. We talked about the 50-state strategy and Howard Dean. There was a black man who started that. His name is Keelan Sanders out of Mississippi. He had a 50-county. He had an all-county strategy in Mississippi, and Howard Dean met him in Mississippi, took that strategy and implemented himself across the nation. So shout out to Keelan Sanders, Miss Bernie Sanders, former Mississippi Black State Outreach Director, and also an amazing Democrat and a friend that's working hard in Mississippi. To say, I want to ask Alicia this one right here. The most disappointing thing, and I talk about this all the time, and Barack went from I was mad on him to like, come on, man. is when him and Jordan teamed up to talk to LeBron and get LeBron to tell Giannis that the Milwaukee Bucks shouldn't protest. Now, I think that was probably the biggest platform, because when if you recall at the time, the NBA bubble was the only sports ball going on, right? Mm-hmm. And they were about to shut that one down. And Barack and Jordan got together and said, "No, we need this. We need you to keep going. We just tell me you probably know more than me, but tell me your thoughts on this one right here." You know what I mean? Like, what was he doing? Because that was disappointing.
You know, I'm gonna be generous with Barry. I think he sees himself as trying to do a good thing. So I'm just thinking back to Beergate, right? I've been talking about this recently, but you know, Professor Gates gets stopped and harassed in his own neighborhood in Cambridge, I think it was. He locks himself out of his house and he looks like a suspect, and some young officer who didn't know who he was and wouldn't have, just to keep it a buck, thought he was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. Now, y'all know Professor Gates. You know how he carries himself. You know how he presents. I'm gonna say that officer was like, "There's no Black people that belong here. I don't care if you're in a suit. I don't care. It don't matter, right?" Period. So here's what President Obama did. First, he popped off, right? He said, "Oh, the officer acted stupidly," and da 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 da. But then people pulled his coat, and so then his approach to it was, "Well, let's all sit down and have a drink." And what that does, and I talk about this in the book, is it makes racism about something that is like between people who are good and people who are bad, as opposed to rigged rules that distribute power or don't. And that is his worldview too. That's his worldview. And I think we have to remember, and I think about this all the time when we do work with entertainers or celebrities, right? There's not a lot of folks who come into this work with an understanding of how power operates. Most people come into social justice movements because they are appalled at something that's happening. But underneath it, they don't know why it's happening. So they think that it's bad people doing bad things to good people. And so then the response is more often than not that we need to engage in charity and acts of good in order to counter bad, rather than there is a web of rigged rules that have run this country since the very beginning. It's how this country was founded. It's how it became prosperous. And these are all outputs of those arrangements. And you can mix up the arrangements however you want because they always have the same outcome. So that's why you got to upset the arrangement. You can't just remix it. You have to upset it. So I think, you know, when I'm being really generous with the former president, I honestly think that those kinds of interventions, I don't think he's like a plant. You know what I'm saying? I just think he doesn't have a theory of change that I agree with.
So you're saying that it's not malice?
I don't think it's malice. I think the result is malicious, and I think the impact is that he interrupts shifts in power. But I honestly, I don't know that I feel from Barry's perspective. I like how I'm calling him Barry too. We don't know each other like that, and it's kind of not. Let me back it up.
It's no. It's quite. I love it. Please do it.
You keep
not an elder. Okay, so,
he's got enough undue respect in the community. He could use a little bit of undue disrespect.
I don't think he has enough allegiance. He has allegiance to power, but I don't know that he is a strategist for how to keep power intact. I think he thinks he's making the Bill Cosby interventions. I think he sees himself as like,
that's it,
black dad, right? Who's trying to get everybody to like get along and be good to each other.
So I have two theories, and I want to pull one on the screen because you brought up Skip Gates. My first theory is generous to Barack Obama. The second one is not generous at all. The second one, I think he's pretty malicious when I read this passage from his new book. I'll pull that up second.
No, I haven't read his book now, so go ahead and read me first.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should read it. Okay,
don't waste your time. Reread yours.
Let's just go straight to it. Right?
That's right, Mondale.
I'm gonna put this one. I'm gonna put this one paragraph on the screen.
This is disgusting.
This is the one. He said, this is Barack words from his newest book. He said, my own guess as to what happened was more particular, more human than the simple black and white morality tale being portrayed. Having lived in Cambridge, I knew that its police department didn't have a reputation for harboring a whole bunch of Bull Connor types. Meanwhile, Skip, as Gates was known to his friends, was brilliant and loud. One part W.E.B. Du Bois and one part Mars Blackman. And watch this, and cocky enough that I could easily picture him cussing out a cop to the point where even a relatively restrained officer might feel his testosterone kick in. I'm sorry, you arrest me in my house. Let's see that testosterone, right?
It's before the testosterone problem. This is uppity. He just called Skip uppity. And we talked about this when we first talked about this passage. This is disgusting, and him saying this is all Skip's fault because, the most restrained, the most lovable white person could be pissed off by Skip, cursing them out. I'm like, this mentality isn't everything that is Obama's legacy. I mean, besides of that fake organizing history he created in Southside Chicago that some of my folk told me to question.
Is there any evidence of that?
Some of my people told me to question it, but I mean, he showed up to some meetings. He had some clipboards.
Oh, okay, all right.
He got some clipboards. But I mean, he's done so much damage to those clipboards that you can't even register to vote on them things no more. They're so cracked up and broken because him as a senator, him as a president, some of the way he shows up on a national platform is so derogatory to what it means to the black existence. And I think this goes back to his words too in an earlier book. This goes back to him learning how to be black in a bar at 16 and 15 in Hawaii. And not, you know what I mean? Like he says, his grandfather had to take him to a bar. So I think
at 7 in elementary school, he had to get taught in the bar.
I mean, I always go back to that segment from his book. And every time I see him do things like this, I think about him saying those words, and then I couple it with how fast he divorced the guy who he said was like a father figure, and also introduced him to Jesus, right? How he turned on Reverend what's wrong with my brain right now?
Right.
Help me,
Jeremiah Wright.
Jeremiah Wright. How he turned on Jeremiah Wright, who he said introduced him to God. So if you're so easily if you possess the ability to turn on the person who introduced you to your savior and who baptized your kid, and also, I mean, seriously, and also your father figure because of like the coat telling or the coat pulling, as Sister Alicia said, then I already know your spine is yellow, and I know not to fuck with you that way, straight like that.
Your spine though.
The yellows, right? But you know what? Who else changed their religion though? People do change their religion for a whole lot of stuff. Sunshine made that man change his religion. He just threw it up in the air and it came down like a rainbow.
Get off the show right now.
But he changed his religion for her. Man. But go ahead, Alicia. What do you think about that? What do you think about that passage?
I think the same thing I thought before. I honestly, there's nobody, I mean, not that there's nobody, but I have been very critical of this president for a lot of reasons. And in particular, because I agree that I think he was preoccupied with not being a president just for Black people, but embodying this notion that he's a president for everybody. I think it's a weird flex myself, but we don't have the same politics. You know what I'm saying? And I knew that about him. And I was super skeptical even when he was running, when he was like, I used to be a community organizer. But it was the way he was talking about it that I was like, I just don't trust it. But I've come to think now that that passage actually backs up my assessment of his worldview, which is that he doesn't have an analysis of power. His analysis is like good people, bad people. So when he's looking at Professor Gates, he's like, well, you were popping off, so you got what you deserved. His whole thing is like, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And I'm like, not in a white supremacist society, my friend. That's not how this works. But you have to have an analysis of white supremacy and capitalism and patriarchy. Like, you have to have an understanding of how power functions in order to situate yourself in such a position where you can either interrupt it or you can help sustain and perpetuate it. And I don't think that he wants to interrupt the way that power operates. I think he wants to tinker with it and make it a nicer power, but I don't think he wants to transform power in any way. I really don't. I just don't think that's in his.
Let me,
you know.
I want to throw my alternate theory out here, right? Because I don't know which one I believe. I think maybe both of them might be right. But the other side of it is that maybe, because when I heard you say how people pulled his coattail in response to his original reaction to the Skip Gates incident, right? And people pulled his coattail, and he came all the way in to the point where now he's writing this goddamn this passage, right? White folks, black folks. My thing is, do you think that there's ever a point in this power structure in this country, America kills their radicals? America, like, just straight out just guns us down in the street. Like, no cap, no exaggeration. Do you think Barack Obama may have been kind of like where I am right now? I ain't dying for y'all white folks in this country. I'm not going to be the radical savior of this country, and y'all not ready to show up to the revolution yourself. Maybe he just saw what this thing really was and was like, you know what, let me get this bag, because y'all white folks ain't really serious about saving this country from y'all own mess. That's just a theory I'm working with this week. What you think?
I mean, Ron was his chief of staff. Of course he thinks that.
I love that. I love that. I think here's what I think. Roll with me here for a second.
Let's go.
I think that with Black folk, there's always a danger. It's not just us, but I just want to talk about us. I think this is true in other communities as well, but the dynamics are a little bit different for a bunch of reasons. But with our folks, aren't we always a little bit like that? Aren't we always a little bit like, I'm not going out for you motherfuckers, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing it. And look, there's a place where that can be useful, and there's a place where that can go awry. I mean, we got people on TV right now who are out here talking about a whole lot of nonsense on behalf of Black people, right? Like, oh, you need to be healthier. That's why you get in the Rona more than other people, is because we're not as healthy. Like, weird flex, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I just think my rule of thumb in general is I'm always cautious around people who got more bars for Black people than they have for white power. So that's my litmus test. I'm like, if you're Black and you got more bars for Black people than you do for white power, I don't trust you, and I really probably don't mess with you that much. But number two, you know, for people who are Black folks in white power structures where almost all the decision makers are still mostly white. Right? Like, some of it I feel like is maybe like a Stockholm syndrome type of thing, where you really can't find your way otherwise, right? Like, it's like a warm bath, and all of a sudden you'd be like, well, this isn't so bad. And maybe the only thing we need to do is this. And this is why movements are so important. Right? This is why organizations are so important. And this is why I don't believe in this like anti-organization bent that some folks propagate, where they're like, everybody and anybody can be a part of a movement. I'm like, sure. Anybody and everybody can like pick up a bullhorn or do a picket sign. But the whole point of organizations is that they become the smallest unit of how we express not just external change, right? But change in and with ourselves and each other. That's the purpose. It's to be able to be in constant practice with one another around how not to be on the bullshit, right? But also, right, how to be powerful together and how to navigate what it means to try to build a thing that we don't know how to build. We're just trying a bunch of stuff, right? We're just trying a bunch of stuff, basically. So that's where I stand on the thing. I don't know. I like your theory.
I feel that.
And also, I have like, one of us at some point needs to do like an update of like Black Reconstruction or something like that. Something with that level of rigor where you just are like laying out every sector and strata, but just of Black people in this moment so that we can fully understand what it is we're working with and who's on the team.
I got a question for you, Alicia. On this show, Mondale and I have sort of a running argument about, and it's not an argument because he's winning me over more and more, but about, the movement and also like more particularly the accountability for the Biden administration, right? So let's just say we win, and we talked about the movement the last time you were on this show and like where it's headed, right? So let's just say we get, we win both of these. Well, let's say we're going to win both of these seats, and down here in Georgia, right? And Vice President Harris will have the deciding vote.
Yep.
I still am skeptical because of the Wall Street appointees that the Biden administration has put into place. I still think it's going to be closer to a third Obama administration. Yeah. Mondale more so is like there's a lot of power being built on the outside. I let him speak for himself, but there's a lot of power being built from the outside, and the folks are going to be holding this administration more accountable, and they're going to have to react to us. I slowly am starting to see that direction, but I still get these glimpses of, God, this is just going to be so neoliberal again, man. So my question for you is, what do you think? Where do you think we're going to be able to hold this guy accountable, man? You think we're going to be able to get progressive actions taken? You think we're going to get some version of Black liberation out of, as you see these picks roll in to, because I don't even think you were on before the election. You haven't been on since the election, have you? No, you haven't.
No, not since the election, but I was on right before.
Right. So what are you thinking?
Okay, let me pull this apart a little bit, and in no way am I choosing between the two of you. Here's what I think. I think that we're in trouble as it relates to this administration. We're in trouble. And the reason we're in trouble is because we're facing an arrangement where people think they're rooted in an era of politics that is gone. They're trying to legislate for the 1990s. We in 2020. So like there's a lot of this weird, I'll just use it again, a weird flex about bipartisanship when you don't really have a Republican Party anymore. So what are you working across the aisle with? Right. They have completely transformed themselves. They're not Reagan Republicans, and they're not even Newt Gingrich Republicans. Like they're really like on some whole other, this is like Proud Boy Republicans. That's okay. And that's mixed with QAnon. Okay. These people are seats. So, I keep hearing all these things about, well, Biden's going to bring on Republican. And I'm like, I just don't fucking understand what the strategy is here. I just don't. Right. So number two, I think, however, there are some good people that they haven't been making a lot of hoopla about, but that are joining the administration. And if Biden really does do the thing where he's a caretaker president until Kamala can run in 2024, if he does that, then there are some opportunities to win big victories. I do believe that. The challenge here and the wild card is the one that we're always facing, which is that Joe Biden is the whitest white man to ever white man. So.
He's a pure cut.
I mean, y'all listened to that audio the other day, right?
Yeah, we heard that, man.
The way this man was talking to these grown ass people.
I'm not sure what happened there.
People are not 20
Alicia,
years younger than him. Oh,
hang on one second, Alicia. We lost your audio, went a little bad on us for a second. Try it again. Start right there.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, actually, that's you, Marcus.
It's you, Marcus. Can you mute while she speak? I think it's your. There you go.
Oh, your mic. Yeah. It's all you, Alicia. Go for it.
So I just he got bars for anybody who wants to challenge him on how he sees the world, right. And especially in relationship to his relationship with Black people. So that's some shit we need to be careful of, because Jim Clyburn got him out here feeling himself, child. Yeah. And that is going to be an impediment to Black folks getting the things that Black folks need, because according to Joe Biden, Black folks have already spoken, and he has all the Black voices that he needs, and it ain't us.
Right. No. That is, and I love the way you phrase it. Like you said we're in trouble. I think folks need to realize that, like, we're in a better position than we would have been if Trump had won, but we still got a hell of a fight on our hands.
Yeah, let me clarify real quick. So my argument isn't an argument for Joe Biden's administration. My argument is an argument for what Black people are doing and have been doing since 2017 as it pertains to election and unelecting certain folk. That was my argument, and it still is. And I think that exists. The minute you don't do what you do, there's a new generation that has so much more power than we've ever had. And because of those young folk, because of their power and them flexing them in every election since Donald Trump has been in office, or since 2018 or 17, when baby boomers began to be no longer the largest voting bloc in this country, we've seen millennials and the generation behind them flex in a way that no young generation has ever flexed. So I'm super excited about that. And I wanted to clarify that my argument was never an argument for this administration. It is absolutely a neoliberal administration, as it was always going to be. I am going to say this though, and this is a fact that we should definitely acknowledge. I don't really think you're gonna be able to. You can no longer just do the shit you did, and they absolutely believe that is the 90s or even earlier than that. But they're elected officials that don't wait till you get in a private room to call you out. They go straight to Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like they take it to the people straight to. So and I think that creates, when that is the when that is AOC, when that is when that is AP, when that is Sister Ilhan Omar, when that is Jamal Bowman's, when that is Cori Bush means of communicating, they're not talking to Washington, D.C. They're talking to not even just their constituents, they're talking to all of the world, saying this is what these Bamas are doing up here. Like, we should hold them accountable. And then that creates a different power. And I think I've seen it manifest in seeing, incumbents for 30 years losing elections easily. So I'm super excited about that energy. And I mean, just because I interact with our people, so I think I'm comfortable in that space.
I agree with that 100%. And here's a goalpost that we can build toward, because I agree with you. And one of the things it made me think about was, I talk a lot about how I think we need to make new mistakes and not keep making the same old mistakes. Yeah. So here's the intervention point. All of what you said can be true if not too many of us get absorbed into the administration. And one of the things that made me nervous now, child, made me nervous, So leading up to the campaign, people didn't want to say a lot because they were choosing their position as opposed to organizing. And this leaked audio, I think, is really fascinating. One, I want to know who leaked the shit.
Okay.
I want to know who leaked the shit, child, because
that's the story. I want to know who that is. That's a good question.
That's the real tea. I'm like, we need Wendy Williams up in here to be like, so who was it really, child? But here's the other thing. The whole thing about that leak is that meeting shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Right. Talk on it.
It shouldn't have happened in the first place. So
I feel that. I'm coming across
to the table, but yeah, you can't. You should want to set the menu.
I'm about to pull up a video. I don't know if anyone saw it, but I just saw one of our listeners mention it in the chat room about Michael Eric Dyson on Don Lemon last night and discussing Joe Biden and Joe Biden's pick for the DOD and saying that is Joe Biden paying his debt. But hang on, I haven't seen the clip. I'm just looking at the description. Let's play this clip. Let's watch this together because apparently it's Michael Eric Dyson giving Joe Biden a pass because he picked a black man over at the Pentagon. Again, I haven't seen the whole thing and it's downloading right now. But if it is what it says it is, and I'm reading it, unfortunately, there's a couple of headlines that the right wing is running with. TheBlaze.com, which is a right wing rag, said Michael Eric Dyson says Joe Biden paid the debt owed to black Americans by picking a black man for Secretary of Defense. Again, I'm going to wait till the whole clip is downloaded to play it. And I want to get you all's opinion on it. Here's that clip now. Take a listen in. And just that quick, the clip is gone. That said, I gave as much filibustering as I could to get to the actual goddamn clip, and then I couldn't get to the clip. But if he said what he said, give me 10 seconds to get the video. What do y'all think that says about not just Michael Eric Dyson, because I think Michael is cool, right? But he has his days, he has his low points. But then also I think it says to a class in the black community for which representation is enough. Here's a clip. I finally got it. Let's take a listen.
All right, so here's the breaking news tonight. Sources telling CNN the president-elect Joe Biden will nominate retired General Lloyd Austin as
we got that
tapping Vivek Murthy to step
big
with General Michael Austin. What do you think?
Oh, it's beautiful. Look, have you ever heard a president say before, I owe you a debt, you hook me up, I'm hooking you up? I've never heard a president. I've studied presidential rhetoric. I've studied presidents' interactions with Black America. I've never heard that. And so the attempt to follow up and to follow through by President-elect Joe Biden is worthy of note. And I think he's been doing a very good job so far. You got to balance all the considerations of the competing interests that are vying for your time and representation. But I think black people are well deserved. And this choice of General Austin today is truly outstanding.
I got my Michaels out of context.
All right, so I know we're pressed for time.
Lloyd
That's kind of the gist of it. It's a long clip. That's the gist of it. But if we go further, we can hear that exact quote. Alicia, I know you have to go. So just tell me what you thought about that sentiment about black representation and Joe Biden's debt being paid, and then we'll get you out of here.
Oh, Dr. Dyson. I don't think he had listened to that leaked audio. I really don't. I really don't. I honestly, that was a real unfortunate. That was unfortunate because no black person in America is like Joe Biden is doing all the things for black people right now.
Come on, man.
That was like a month and some change ago.
Right.
We're in a different place now. This man came out here and told these people, grown people, he said, nobody's done more than black people than me. And if you don't believe me, the hell with you. Yeah. Now that's what the man said. Yeah. So,
yeah, no, I mean, and there's so much more. There's so much more that we got to talk about. And everyone in the audience is like, they want you to come back as soon as you can. So we want to, Alicia Garza, thank you so much for joining us. The book is The Purpose of Power, How We Come Together When We Fall Apart. And I want everybody in the Trap Squad to get at least 2 copies of it. And Alicia, we want you to come back as soon as you're available again.
Thank you. I would love it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate you, sister.
It is always a pleasure and always a blessing to have her on here. I know we got to get out of here, fellas. Anybody need a last word before we get out of here?
Mondale, are you talking?
Yeah, you're on mute, man. Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
okay. Yeah, okay. No, so this is what I got to say about that video. If you think Black Americans are care that a Black person is on top of the military industrial complex, then you're crazy, right? That is, and I'm a veteran. I don't have, and I'm happy that any Black person gets a gig, right? But having a gig, and I mean, show me you love me by making the agriculture commissioner Black. Show me you love me by giving us more than a position of HUD. Show me you love, like, show us more than what you're trying to present right now. And the DOD ain't it. And Michael Eric Dyson knows way better than to say having a Black person at the top of the DOD is anywhere close to creating Black liberation. So I mean, I love Dr. Dyson to death, but I kind of agree with Alicia. He didn't watch that video. Yeah,
and I think even before that video, even if he had,
listen, I agree. He's been cooning. His last book is a coon ep. Fuck out of here. I'm tired of Michael Eric Dyson getting passed because he can use big words and he act highly erudite. Fuck that. Dude is a problem. Who wrote that damn book about Jay-Z? Like Jay-Z, a guy. Jay-Z is a fucking sellout and don't care about Black people. He's a capitalist. And Michael Eric Dyson has went down the damn road. Fuck out of here. I'm tired of him. He's been living off his brother. He's been living off his brother rep too long any damn way.
Oh my God. Okay, so hey, anybody got a last word after that?
I don't want to say shit. I just want to come to tomorrow. That leads us into tomorrow very well.
That does lead into tomorrow very well, and that does also lead us to opportunity. We might have to get.
Hold on. We got to do this. I don't care if everybody got to go. Y'all know how to find us, and if you don't know how to find us, look below. Right. Somewhere right there is my Twitter handle and my Instagram handle, Marcus Farrell. Same thing with Ben Dixon. The only thing that I would like to say is I don't know how many likes that we have on this thing right now, but we gotta fix that before we go. We gotta fix that.
Shoot, my phone died, so I can't jump in YouTube and see the likes. But y'all get those likes up before we get out of here. We're going to be back in the morning, same bat time, approximately the same bat time, obviously the same bat channel, and we will see you all in the morning. Take care, everybody.
Peace.